And so the 42, I think we talked earlier, the 42, like they don't consider it like a real done deal church until many things are in place. And so they have 42 that are like legit, what we would call legitimate churches, and then they have another 20 that we would maybe consider, oh, that's got to be a church of baptizing people, but they don't consider it a church until there's many things in place. And so basically you're almost, pretty soon you can get 62 churches very quickly, which is amazing that you guys are doing that work. And Risa does most of the work, is that right? And she does everything. She does everything. Kind of explain to us, kind of how do you guys plant a church? Like, how does that work in the Dominican Republic? You decide, what do you think about before you go and plant a church? How do churches start if you're going to plant one?
Plantar iglesia es simple.
Planting a church is easy.
No es easy, it's simple.
It's
It's simple, but not easy.
Nice. I like that.
Es simple porque solamente tenemos que tener el don de un plantador de iglesia. Lo primero que debemos tener es un plantador de iglesia.
We have to have the gift of planting churches. That's the first thing.
La Biblia nos enseña que Dios repartió dones para cada persona en su iglesia.
God has shown us in the Bible that there's a gift for each one, and a planting of a church is a gift.
Es un don de Dios para su iglesia.
It's a gift of God for His church.
Tú necesitas un plantador de iglesias.
So you need a church planter.
Cuando tienes el líder, tienes la iglesia.
When you have that, you have the church.
Luego entonces ese líder tiene que descubrir la comunidad donde va a plantar.
Then that leader has to discover the community where they're at.
Y nuestra iglesia está plantada en tres principios fundamentales.
And our church is planted in three primary foundations:
Multiplicación,
multiplying,
misión,
mission,
discipulado.
discipleship.
No es nada nuevo,
It's nothing new.
siempre ha estado ahí.
It's always been there.
No hemos hecho un gran descubrimiento, simplemente estamos poniendo en práctica los principios bíblicos que usó Jesús, los discípulos y los discípulos de generación en generación.
We haven't started something of a new discovery. It's something that's been planted for years upon years between Jesus, the disciples, and the disciples of the disciples.
You're just doing what you see in the Bible, right? I mean, you're reproducing that.
Yes.
Simple, but not easy. That's right. That's awesome. These churches that you are planting, to what degree do we're trying to use small groups here in our church to continue to grow and reach others. And so kind of wanted you guys to talk about a little bit about your small groups and what role they play in the growth of your churches. How are you guys using small groups to grow your churches in the Dominican?
Los pequeños grupos nos facilitan mucho el trabajo.
It makes our job a lot easier.
Porque las iglesias generalmente cuando ya están plantadas y tienen mucho tiempo entran en lo que es una estructura, un programa.
Because when you enter into a church, when it grows, it enters into a structure, a program.
Y los pequeños grupos nos permiten estar fuera de todos esos programas.
And the small life group help us to go outside of the box of that program.
Tenemos un programa para todo, para la escuela, para el trabajo, para el hogar.
We have a program for everything, for school, for home, for jobs.
Pero cuando llegas a un pequeño grupo en una casa, tú puedes llegar con todas las informalidades que puedas.
But when you make it to these small groups, you can make it in your all informality.
Es más fácil tú decirle a un amigo, ven a mi casa, que ven a la iglesia.
It's easier to tell a friend, come to my house, than to come to my church.
Cuando tú le dices, ven a mi casa, vamos a tener una reunión con amigos, la gente quiere siempre estar con amigos.
When you tell them, come to my house, I'm going to have some friends over, it's easier to convince people to come at that point.
Y cuando vamos a hablar de su importancia, es como si fuera la rueda de una bicicleta.
And we're going to speak about how important it is. It's like a wheel on a bike.
La bicicleta tiene un núcleo, un centro.
The bike has a nucleus, a center.
Y ese centro podríamos decir que es el Evangelio.
And that center is the gospel, we could say.
Pero tiene también algunos rayos, nosotros decimos rayos a las varillas.
We call the rods that are on the tires, we call them rods.
que se conectan con cada parte del aro, de la rueda de la bicicleta.
That connects to the actual wheel itself.
Y todo va desde el núcleo hasta la rueda.
And everything goes from the nucleus to the tire.
Entonces, desde el Evangelio llegamos a los lugares donde no podría llegar el núcleo de la iglesia. Cada miembro de la iglesia se extiende y alcanza a los demás.
So each time that a member reaches out, it's reaching out from the nucleus, which is the church, that sometimes can't reach out that far. And that's what those rods are.
El Evangelio debe ser el corazón de la iglesia.
The gospel should be the heart of the church.
Pero los pequeños grupos funcionan como las manos de la iglesia que llegan a donde no podría llegar sin la extensión del reino.
But those rods, which are the small groups, are like the hands of the church that can reach to places that no one else can reach.
Es muy importante para nosotros trabajar allá. Por ejemplo, en nuestra iglesia, en enero empezamos con un solo grupo pequeño.
In our church, when we first started, we started with one small group.
Fue tan bonito lo que pasó dentro de ese primer grupo, que el martes pasado lanzamos 9 grupos más dentro de la comunidad.
It was so beautiful what happened with that one small group that we actually opened up a total of 9 new small groups inside that same community.
En nuestra iglesia están asistiendo unos 45 adultos cada semana.
And there's about 45 adults that are participating in church.
En los pequeños grupos tenemos 75 adultos participando.
In the small groups, we have a total of 75 adults participating.
Un 50 o 60% no son creyentes.
50 or 60% has que no creen, non-believers.
No son creyentes. No van
Yeah, you're gonna say that doesn't help us a lot when you respond in Spanish. So 50% of the people in the small groups are unchurched, like they're not Christians.
No, pues,
Wow.
nunca han visitado nuestra iglesia.
They have never visited a church.
And so the way you guys are growing your churches there is they come to the small group first, right? And then eventually they make their way to the nucleus. They make their way into the actual structure of the church. But it starts in the homes, right? With the small groups.
Sí, absolutamente.
Yeah, which is, we're just not as good at it as you guys yet, but we're getting there. We're trying hard to we'll catch up one day, you know. We're trying to, in America.
I'm praying for you.
Thank you. I told Elvis earlier the other day that America's a little different. We're so much more private, and it's like, well, I don't want people in my house, and we're weird. We understand that you guys are much better about, it's about Jesus. Who cares about my house, right? Just come to my house. We want to teach you about Jesus. We want to develop a relationship so we can grow and reach our communities. And we get stuck on, oh, my house is dirty. Oh, they're going to judge me. Oh, I have a dog. We think of lots of reasons. And it's pretty, when you put it into perspective as to what you guys are doing, and you're so gospel-centered that none of that other stuff matters, which is something we can definitely learn from you guys.
Después que hablamos eso, yo estuve pensando en eso que me dijiste de que la gente no abre fácil su casa para que vengan. La gente no viene a tu casa.
Ever since we started talking about it, about the people don't open their homes that easily to come to their house, I've been thinking about it.
Y creo que si ellos no vienen a nuestra casa,
And I believe that if they don't come to our house,
es tiempo de que nosotros vayamos a la de ellos.
it's time that we go to their house.
One of the things that I learned in the Dominican that we talked about at our last staff retreat that we had was you guys are so good about going into the villages. Just, you don't wait for the village to come to you. You go to the villages. And we were with Pastor Felix and walked around, and he just door to door, meeting people, greeting people, loving on people. And really is how the church began, by him going to them, not waiting for them to come to them. And we've been trying to teach that here and learn that it's what goes on outside these walls. We can't expect people to just come to our church, that we need to go to them and we need to love on them. I know I have a question for Raisa that kind of goes off of this. No, continue.